Hello, grade 10 students. In this video, we're going to talk about our new chapter, which is plants. Here in this chapter, we're going to talk about the nutrients needed by a green plant. If a horse gets hungry, what does it do? It nibbles grass. So it eats food. So if a tiger gets hungry, what does it do? It hunts a prey. So what about you? If you get hungry, what do you do? What do you do is either you're going to cook food or you're going to order food. For sure, you're going to order food and you're not going to cook food. So, what about the green plants? What do they eat? How do they get? So, light, water, mineral salts, CO2, these four important elements, they are necessary for green plants. What do they do for the green plants? Let's see. So, green plants, they are plants that contain the green chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is a pigment that absorbs the sunlight. Objective of this experiment is to study the importance of water for the normal growth of green plants. Here we have two plants, 1 and 2. 1 is watered while 2 is not. So the variable factor between these two plants is water. So this table condition, both of them contain water and minerals, both of them contain light, both of them contain CO2, but in this factor. So the plant 1, it grows normally, while in plant 2, it grows slowly and then die. Indicate the variable factor. As I said, the variable factor is water. Compare the aspects. The plant 1 is watered or tall and green, that while plant 2 that are not watered, they are shorter and yellow in color. Analyze. So analysis. So plant 1, after watering the plant 1 grows tall and green, yet without water, green plants become yellow and die. So draw out a conclusion. Green plants, they need water to grow tall and green. This is the first element. Second, green plants and mineral salts. Objective of this experiment is to study the importance of mineral salts for the growth of a green plant. So complete the following table of conditions and results. Plus means presence, minus means absence. So both of them, they contain water. Mineral salt is present only in plant B, where we have mineral water, while in plant A we have distilled water, so there is no mineral salt. Light is present in both of them, and we have CO2 in both of them. The result is the plant A grows slowly, while plant B grows rapidly and normally. Indicate the variable factor. As I said, it's mineral salt. Compare the aspects. Plant A that's grown in distilled water, they are short, while plant B that's grown in water rich in mineral salts, they are tall. Analyze the obtained results. With distilled water only, the plant A doesn't grow well, yet with water rich in mineral salts, the plant B grows fast. Draw out a conclusion. Green plants need mineral salts to grow fast. Third experiment about the light. Objective of the experiment is to study the importance of light for the growth of green plants. So plant 1 is placed in darkness, plant 2 in the presence of sunlight. Plant 1 that present in darkness, it has yellow color and they are not well developed, while in plant B they are green in color and they are well developed. Compare the following table of conditions and results. Plus means presence, minus it means absence. So in water, both light is absent in plant 1 and presence in plant 2. CO2 and air presence in both plants, duration 8 days for both of them. So green plant, they are yellow and they are not well developed, while plant 2, they are green and they are well developed. So the factor here also is light. Compare the aspect. Plant 1 that's grown in darkness is yellow and not well developed, while plant 2 that's grown in presence of light are green and they are well developed. So in the absence of light, plant 1 becomes yellow and it's not well developed, yet in the presence of light, plant 2 grows green and is well developed. So green plants, they need light to grow. Till now we have 3 main elements. They need water, they need mineral salts, and they need light in order to grow. Green plants and CO2. Objective of the experiment to study the importance of CO2 for the growth of green plants. So here we have a note that potassium hydroxide absorbs carbon dioxide from the air. Two bean plants, both of them they are placed in a glass jar that allows sunlight to enter to the plant. Both of them they have normal conditions unless that plant B it has potassium hydroxide. Potassium hydroxide, as I said, it absorbs CO2. So in plant B, there is no CO2. So no CO2, this means that there is no CO2. This leads to the abnormal growth of the plant in B. So this is the variable factor. So in plant A, we have all the normal conditions. The plant grow tall, green, and normal growth. While in plant B, abnormal growth, yellow in color, it withers, and finally it will die. So to complete the following table of conditions, water is present in both, light in both, fertilizers which are mineral salts also the present in both, CO2 present in air, result green plant they grow normally, while the plant B it withers and die. So the variable factor is the CO2, carbon dioxide. Plant A that's grown in the presence of carbon dioxide is tall and green, while plant B that's grown in absence of carbon dioxide withers and becomes yellowish. Here you don't have to talk about the variable factor which is potassium hydroxide. It's not the potassium hydroxide. The variable factor is carbon dioxide since potassium hydroxide absorbs CO2. Analyze the obtained result. In presence of carbon dioxide, plant A becomes tall and green, yet in absence of carbon dioxide, plant B withers and become yellowish. Draw out a conclusion. Green plants they need carbon dioxide to grow well. So here we have four main elements. We have water, mineral salts, carbon dioxide, and light for the plant to grow well. Let's move now to the plant absorb water. Here we have labeling for the plant for fun. We have the roots, the stem, the buds, the leaves, and the roots. So light, water, CO2, and minerals, they are the four elements needed for the growth of the green plant. We have this experiment. So green plant and water. We have three tubes, A, B, and C. A, it doesn't contain a plant. It contains water and covered by clay. After 2 days, the level of water remains the same. This tube is a control tube used to compare and explain the different experimental results. Tube B, it contains a plant that has leaves, roots, and stems, and it has normal process and absorbs where the level of water after 2 days it drops to a lower level. In tube C, the plant has leaves, it has stem, but it lacks the roots. So the level of water after 2 days it remains the same. So what is the difference between plant A and B? Plant A doesn't contain plant. Why tube A, sorry, it doesn't contain plant. While tube B it does. Tube B and C, both of them contain plant. While tube B contain plant with roots and stem and leaves. While here we have leaves and stem. We don't have roots. So compare the tube A and B to the beginning of the experiment. Tube A and B, both of them they contain water and the clay. But plant B contains plant while A it doesn't. Tube A, a control tube, used to compare and explain the different experimental results. Compare the level of water in tubes A and B at the end of the experiment. A and B, the A, it remains the same since there is no plant. In B, it drops to a lower level due to the presence of the plant. So we can deduce here that the plant is the one responsible for the absorption of the water. But the variable factor between tubes B and C is the presence of the roots. Compare the level of water in tube B to that in C at the end. Level of C it remains the same, while in tube B it drops to a lower level. To deduce the structure in tube C, we don't have roots, while in tube B we do. So here the structure responsible for the absorption of water in green plant is the analyze. After dipping the root hairs and the root cap in water, the green plant grows, while after dipping the root hairs in oil and the root cap in water, the green plant withers and die. So root hairs, they are responsible for the absorption of water in